What is the history of sustainable development? Have you ever wondered how the idea of sustainable development came about? It is a concept that suggests we should meet our current needs without hindering future generations. The history of sustainable development is closely linked to the rise of industrialization and the social and environmental impacts that came with it, especially from the 19th century onward. The roots of sustainable development can be traced back to early critiques of industrial capitalism. Thinkers within the socialist tradition began to question the unchecked exploitation of natural resources. Karl Marx, often seen as a productivist, actually highlighted the disruption in the relationship between humans and the environment caused by capitalist production. He argued that private ownership of the earth was as absurd as owning another person. He emphasized the importance of leaving the planet in better condition for future generations. In the late 19th century, socialist thinkers like William Morris further developed this ecological perspective. They combined environmental concerns with social justice and anti-capitalist ideas. As the 20th century unfolded, various economic and social crises, such as the banking crises and the Great Depression, made it clear that existing economic systems were unsustainable. At the same time, ecological crises became more visible, prompting calls for a new approach to development. A major milestone in recognizing sustainable development occurred at the 1972 United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm. This was the first significant global meeting to address the environmental impacts of development. The conference aimed to establish common principles to preserve the human environment. Influenced by socialist and social justice ideas, it advocated for equitable resource distribution and long-term planning. In the following decades, sustainable development became increasingly tied to global social justice goals. This included the redistribution of resources from wealthier nations to poorer ones, aligning with socialist principles that emphasize fairness and collective responsibility. The 1990 Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro further articulated sustainability goals, with leaders advocating for international cooperation and financial commitments from rich countries to support sustainable development in less affluent regions. From a socialist perspective, sustainable development is not just about protecting the environment. It is fundamentally linked to social justice. It challenges capitalist models that prioritize profit over people and nature. Instead, it advocates for democratic control over resources, equitable wealth sharing, and the integration of ecological limits into economic planning. In practical terms, this perspective supports policies like public ownership or regulation of natural resources. It also promotes investment in renewable energy and social programs aimed at reducing poverty. Global solidarity is essential to ensure that all countries can develop sustainably. The focus is on systemic change rather than superficial reforms. Only by transforming the economic system can true sustainability and social justice be achieved. The history of sustainable development is intertwined with socialist ideas about ecological balance and social equity. It has evolved from early critiques of industrial capitalism's environmental damage and social injustice to a global movement. This movement seeks to harmonize human development with the planet's limits and the needs of all people.